So today's Thursday. I'm currently putting on my socks and everything ready to leave. I do have quite a lot of content to film today, but I also need to go and get some things. So basically, I'm going to run some errands. I need to go and repurchase some products because my makeup isn't working for me anymore, and I've been trying to figure out why it isn't working. And I think I finally figured out why it isn't working. It is because I am still doing makeup I did back when I was a teenager and back in my early 20s. And now I am so close to hitting 28, which means I'm a lot closer to my 30s, which means I gotta start doing makeup for that age group now. And yes, for a little bit I was intimidated, and I was like, what do you mean I need to start changing my skincare routine and my makeup routine for a different phase of my life? Like, I knew it was bound to happen and it was going to come. Like, anyone that does makeup knows, like, you're going to have to eventually change certain parts of your makeup because your skin changes over the ages. And right now my makeup routine hasn't been making me feel pretty. I feel like I look a lot nicer without makeup than with makeup, and that's saying something because my eyelashes are blonde and my eyebrows are blonde. I look like a mold rat, basically. I don't know if you can tell, but my makeup is splitting. My under eye circles, it's just, nothing's working. And I'm gonna be honest, I've been very lazy with my skincare routine and my makeup routine lately. There was a time where I had a separate routine. I had a separate night routine, a separate morning routine, and I loved them. But then there came a point in time when I was just lazy and I used whatever I felt like it. Rather, if it looked cute or I liked the texture, I would just use it. So now I'm actually going to do what my skin needs and actually look after it. So I'm going to take you along with me, and we are going to buy everything that we need to hopefully we're going to buy everything that we need. Well, I need 1, fix my skincare routine, 2, better makeup, and actually do what my skin is asking instead of doing what I always known. Like, I've been on autopilot for so long. I have already bought products yesterday before I even realized that's what my makeup was doing. I typically have this eye here that likes to run, and like, the makeup doesn't smudge, but the makeup underneath here like completely disappears and it looks like someone's given me a black eye. But anyway, the products that I bought yesterday that I needed to repurchase this is my Laneige Bouncy and Firm Serum. I really do like this stuff. I haven't used it for a long time. I'm just trying to figure it out if this is a thing that I use daytime, nighttime, or both. And then I got a restock of my Geisu Honey Milk Styling Cream. Again, I love this stuff, obsessed with. Now, before I go to the shops and get the things I'm thinking of getting and the recommendations I was given to get, I want to show you some of the products that I'm currently using and why I think they're not personally working for me. Or I might just show you what I'm using. Not particular order, I'm just going to grab it as I see it on my little shelf. So I've been using the Fenty Foundation Pro Filter, the matte one, because I used to use this back when I think this came out. I don't know where it came out, but I know I was quite young then, and I used it and I fell in love with it. It was my first ever high-end foundation I ever got to use. I got it again because I was like, it worked then, why won't it work now? It does not. It does not. I love the look of a glowy matte foundation, like a glowy matte skin. That's the look I love. But I'm starting to realize matte products aren't working for me as well as they used to work for me. So I think I got to start to change the formulas I'm going for while still trying to get that look that I love. Another product I love is a skincare product, which is the Laneige Bouncy and Firm Serum, which I already have a restock of it. A couple other products is the Fenty Grip Trap, I believe it's called. I love this. I got this purely because I thought it was really cute and adorable. There was this purple one and a pink one, and I got this one because it said hydrating, and I thought my skin maybe needed hydrating, not realizing that this primer is a water-based primer and this foundation is a silicone-based foundation. That did not end well. I've been using my little tester of the base face milk. I cannot pronounce the brand for the life of me, but it will be up on the screen. Another tester I got is the NARS Orgasm Edge blush. Love this blush. I used it as my blush today and as my eyeshadow. My favorite highlighter at the moment is the Fenty Beauty Diamond Bond Lavender. I do love this. I just don't think you can see it as much as I would like to see it. This is just what it looks like. Also, the mascara I use is the Kosas Star Soul Gazer mascara. Concealer and contour stick I use is the Match Stick in shade Amber. I use this one. I also use the Fenty Beauty concealer, the matching one of the foundation. I use this morning and night. It is Ayers, I think it's pronounced. It's the milky toner. I do love it. I also have the matching cleanser. I don't use the cleanser as much, but I use this every single day, like daytime, nighttime, before makeup, after makeup, you name it, I use it. Another thing I use is the Laneige Bouncy and Firm the Laneige Bouncy and Firm eye sleeping mask. I know you're supposed to use this at nighttime, but lately I haven't been because I don't like any of my other eye creams underneath makeup, and I loved this. I used this once underneath makeup and loved how it looked, so I used it ever since. I know you're not supposed to, I'm gonna stop. But another thing I use sometimes underneath makeup is my Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide drops. These are the Who drops in the rose one. Another thing that I sometimes use is my Fenty Beauty, I think this is a sun visor, where it's a primer and a moisturizer. I'm not too sure, correct me if I'm wrong. And then I have the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, which I'm very low on. Now, a couple other quick things I thought I would show you that I have used. I got my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I do love this stuff. It lasts a long time. I just don't know if it's too thick for my skin at the moment underneath makeup. I also have my mini of the Lala Retro whipped cream. Now, this cream, the full size, is very, very expensive, but my skin loves this. I used this underneath, not underneath my makeup. I don't think I used it underneath my makeup. I mainly used this every night before bed, and it just made my skin feel so, I don't know the right words to use apart from making it feel so youthful and just fresh. Some other products that I use and sometimes use, I daily use the Kosas Brow Pop eyebrow pencil. I love this stuff. It lasts such a long time. My first one that I got it for my birthday, which is in March, and I got my recent one in about, I think I got my recent one in August, I want to say. Then I also have the Kosas liners. I have like a skin color shade and then just the black shade. I ran out of the black shade. I don't know if I want to get another one. I kind of do, because I do like how it stayed on my eyes. Like, I have really sensitive eyes, and I do like how these go on my eyes. Another thing I have from Glow Recipe is the Pore Smoother Blur Drops. I loved this, and I was going to try this again to see if this would help, because I used to use this as a primer and I loved it, but this is quite old now, so I don't know if I should repurchase it to see if it will actually help, because I used to use this with my Glow Recipe Watermelon Toner. I loved this toner, and I'm actually tempted to go back to it, but this has been sitting on my shelf for quite some time. Ever since I got the milky toner, I've been using this more than this, and I'm starting to think I should use the milky toner at night and see if this will do anything. Another thing I'll say is I do also use powder. I was using the Huda Beauty lavender shade, and I loved the formula of that powder. Like, I loved how it just blurred my skin and it just looked so flawless. But the scent they have in it, that fragrance has, I think it has ylang ylang or jasmine in it, one of the two. And I'm actually allergic to them, so I couldn't use it. Every time I used it, my face would get irritated, but I loved finish it. I'll just put up with it, even though I would wipe it off and I would have the irritation was next level. So instead, I went in looking for a new powder, and I was recommended the Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Setting Powder. I'm in shade Vanilla, and I actually love this stuff. I love how fine it is. I still think it does a similar thing to the Huda Beauty, but not as good, but still, it's very good. It has no scent, so I really do like it. It's the next day now, so I'm just putting my hair back, and let's try this makeup look. I'm still gonna go in with the milky toner first. That pretty much soaked it all up. Next, I'm gonna go in with my Cream Mighty AF Eye Balm, I think it's called. I'm gonna try and get a little bit out, because I think a little bit goes a long way. I'm trying to remember to not go too close to the eye, because everything automatically seeps closer to the eye. Anyway, next up, I think I'm going to go in with my Bouncy and Firm serum. I just like how this feels on my skin. This time I'm actually going to go in with my little fan that I got just to dry it down. Then I'm just going to go in with my Drunk Elephant Lala cream. I do think it might be a bit too heavy, but I do like how it makes my skin feel. So I'm just going to have to make sure I use a little bit and really make sure it seeps into the skin. If you're wondering why I'm looking here, that's where my mirror is. And we're going to dry that down. Now I'm going to go in with the Glow Recipe Pore Smoothing and Blur Drops. I am going to be using this as a primer as well to see how it goes. The main places I'm focusing set is where my pores are usually quite large. Now usually I will start with eyebrows first, then foundation, but because I'm going to be using a color corrector, I'm going to use a color corrector and then I'm going to use my concealer. The color corrector I'm using is the Huda Beauty's, I think it's called Flex Filter in shade Cherry Blossom. And just going to blend that in. So that's all blended in now. I think before concealer I'm going to go in with foundation just so that can start to settle down. I'm using the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in shade Light to Mont Blanc. Making sure to give it a good shake before we use it. And I'm going to start with one pump on my hand. See how we go from there. I'm going to give this brush a go. Now, every single one I've watched about makeup techniques starting to come to your 30s is to put a little bit on your hand and then on your brush and then buff it a bit in before you go to the skin. So I'm going to give that a go. So I used one pump and did that technique, but I think it just went into my hand. I don't see it really on my face. I'm just going to go in this way, which they said is harder. Like you're taking more time to move the product around and even, but at least I got product on my skin. Usually I would go a lot heavier with the foundation, but from what I have been researching, they recommend a thin layer. So I'm gonna stop here and start with concealer. Now concealer is the one I'm most nervous for because typically when I do concealer, I do my eyelids, underneath my eyes, around my nose and any other spots that I need it. Apparently that's too much concealer, so we're gonna give it a go this way and see how it is. But they say in the inner corner, this shade is way lighter than I thought it was. It's a shade I used to get and way lighter than I thought. I'm gonna try to get the side of my nose a little bit just because I feel like I do need that, and it does not feel like there's a lot on my face and it feels like I don't got enough around my eyes, but we shall see. You're supposed to let it dry down for a little bit, so I have places to be. I'm kind of in a rush, so worst timing to pick to do this and test this, but I'm going to use my fan to give it a quick little boost. And I'm just going to use my House Labs brush. I'm going to start with this spot down here and work my ways to the eyes last. I feel like I need a little bit more, so I'm just going to let this bit dry down, and while this dries down I'm going to go in with my bronzer stick. This is in shade Bright Side, and typically lately I've been doing around my forehead, side of my forehead, cheekbones, underneath my jawline, nose, everywhere I possibly can, but we'll see what it's like. I forget how creamy these feel every single time I use them. Now I usually do a line behind my ear because that's what I was told. She reckons here, so I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to use my angled brush. I'm just going to start dabbing that in. I don't know the difference that I did, but I feel like this side is a lot blended than this side. I think I'm going to blend my concealer in now, and then I'm going to go back and fix up the contour if I think I need to fix up. Just noticed something, so I'm going to get one of these beauty blenders and I'm going to go and wet it, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my damp beauty blender now. I'm just gonna see if I can fix up a couple of things around my eye area. I think when I have time to play around with makeup, I want to actually give those tips from Nina a go and see if that will help in any way. I think some of the tools that I'm using for certain areas isn't really working as well as I thought they would, which is a little bit disappointing, but just gonna have to deal with it. Like, I'm not happy with how my under eyes are at the moment. I'm just gonna have to deal with it until I can play around with it, but I'm just gonna go in with my powder while I can. Now, I do want to go in with contour more because I think my face needs it, but I'm going to do eyebrows first. I really don't do much with eyebrows at all. I pretty much just brush them through and then just fill in all the missing hairs, all the blonde hairs. And now that we're looking scary, really softening them a bit and blending it. I'm just opening up my setting spray and I'm going to do my first spray. Oh, I missed that spray. Now I got my NARS blush in Orgasm Edge. I've been using this as a blush and as an eyeshadow lately because laziness. I think I'm going to attempt an eyeshadow look. I have no idea how it's going to go, but I'll try it. I really need a palette that has browns in it. I mean, I do have one, but like, it's not the browns that I'm looking for, if that makes sense. I think that's all I have time for now. I do want to attempt a mini wing with my liner, which I love these liners. They do not hurt my eyes, but I use it in a way that people will probably cringe at, but it's the only way I can do it, which is to use a brush. I'm trying to stay close to the lash line as I physically can. Like I said before, I think that's as best as I'm going to get. Even though I think I could have done a better job, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to take these out. I got my highlighter here, which is the Fenty Beauty Diamond Bond, I think. Yeah, Fenty Beauty Diamond Bond in shade Lavender. I love this and I love the color of it, but I feel like it doesn't show up on me as well. Like when I put it on my finger and I put it on my, say, my arm or something, it shows up and it shows up quite lovely, but for some reason I don't feel like it shows up when I use my brush. Now the mascara I use is Kosas Soul Gazer. A lot of Kosas eye products I do like to use because they really don't irritate my eyes whatsoever, which is really important to me because my eyes are really, really sensitive. I feel like that looks pretty good. I'm gonna stick with that. Now I just gotta fix my hair up. So I showed a haul last night and I did not like how the footage went, and I have used some of the product and I just wanted to re-show you what I got because I don't like how that turned out. So let's just get into some of the makeup things and skincare things that I got. Starting off, I got the Drunk Elephant Pre-Mighty AF Eye Balm, I believe it's called. I actually do love this. I used this last night and I also used this morning and I do really like it. Yes, it's expensive, but the texture is just amazing and you have to use a little amount goes a long way. So I do see this lasting me a long time. Another expensive product I have is the Drunk Elephant Lala Retro Cream. I've been getting the little pots for a while. Sometimes I got them as a tester, sometimes I didn't, sometimes I went out and bought it, and I just thought it was worth actually getting the product. But right now Mecca's having a sale where you can get this in a pack, where you get this tin and it looks like this, and in this you get the actual product in this cool looking container, and you get a refill of the product as well, and it's cheaper than the actual product itself. I also got a restock of my favorite Urban Decay Watermelon All-Nighter Setting Spray. I do love this stuff. I have been using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush for Flawless Setting Spray for a while, and I do like it. I just personally don't feel like it does much. With this one, I do feel it actually doing something. Like, I feel like it actually does set my makeup, plus it just feels very refreshing on the face. Another skincare item I forgot to mention that I have is I got a restock of my Laneige Bouncing and Firm Serum. I do love this stuff. I have noticed a difference in my skin with this stuff. This is the second bottle. The first one, as you can see, I have used pretty much all of it up, so I'm glad to finally have a restock. One of the other things I got in my haul that I showed was I got the Huda Beauty, I got the color corrector from Huda Beauty. I got the shade Cherry Blossom, which is just this one. I was gonna get their new one, which I think is called Cherry Light, but I think it was a bit too light for me, but this is what this one is. I also got a new foundation. I got the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in shade Light 2 Mont Blanc. Love this foundation. I used it before and I really did like it, and I'm someone that likes to change their foundations up all the time. Like I said before, I'm trying to transition my skincare and my makeup routine for the next stage that I'm in, trying to make sure that it does what my skin needs, and I like using a lot of products that have the word matte in it. I really do like how that looks in makeup, but that worked when I was a teenager in my early 20s, and now I'm heading towards my 30s. I need to start thinking about what my skin actually needs and then actually treating it. And also makeup, yes, I like the soft matte type of look. I can still achieve it. I just got to use different products and different techniques in order to get that, and I've never had a problem with this foundation. I do think it is expensive, but I do think it is worth the price because it's such an amazing foundation. So I'm glad to finally have this again. Something else I got a restock of, I guess you can call it a restock, is the Rare Beauty. I don't got my glasses on, so sorry if I look like an old lady trying to read it. I got the Rare Beauty, I'm just going to call it a bronzer stick in shade Bright Side. It is a lovely shade. I do love this. It is so smooth and creamy and effortless. It is so effortless to just blend it into the skin. You don't have to do too much, and with someone that has constant achy hands, constantly like blending my foundation in, blending my concealer in, blending my bronzer in, my arms tend to hurt after a while, so the fact that this is so effortless is just a game changer. I loved it the first time I used it. I constantly got it since it very first came out. Then I felt like a change, so I got the liquid form of it, and don't get me wrong, I do like it. This one's in the shade Gentle. I do like this, don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's suited for me. But after I went for the liquid one, I decided to go back to a stick. But you'd think I'd go back to this. No, I didn't. I wanted to try the Rare Beauty Match Stick, I believe it's called. This is in shade 01 Amber, and it's the lightest shade I could find. I do like this, but I will have to say it is nice. I've always wanted to try it ever since I seen them come out. I wanted to try it, so I'm glad I tried it, but now I know that I don't think it works. But personally, I do think it does take a long time to actually blend the product out, and I tend to see it just disappear. And if I go the shade above this, it's too dark, so I don't think I can find a perfect in between. But I do think it takes quite a long time to actually blend this product out. It's not that I hate the product. I don't hate the product. I love the product, but I do find it a long time to actually blend the product out, and I find it a little bit waxy. I don't find it as effortlessly gliding on or easy to blend it through or anything like that. So a no for me for this. I used this one this morning and I just realized like why I love this product so much. I will recommend this product to literally anyone, especially if you're a beginner into cream contouring or cream bronzer or anything along those lines. I will always recommend this product because it is just so easy to use. Now the other thing I got is concealer. So I went back to what I used to use, which is the Tarte Shape Tape, but the Tarte Shape Tape now is a bit too drying for my skin. Like it tends to flake off, which is why I stopped using it. So I got the creamy version, which is what my skin needs. So I can still use the Tarte Shape Tape that I knew and I love, but just a different formulated version of it, the creamy version. I'm in shade 12 and Fair Neutral, if you're wondering. I do love this concealer. I've always loved this concealer. I've always gone for different concealers because I thought I couldn't use it anymore because the original didn't work. But after using the creamy one, obsessed with it, love it. I do think though, I am thinking though of getting a different concealer, a different color, so I can kind of do that technique where you use a lighter shade and you use a shade close to your actual skin tone to kind of like, I don't know the word I'm looking for, like emphasize is not really the word, but I hope you know what I mean. But that's what I'm thinking of testing out next. Now another thing I got is what I used to use all the time, and I don't know why I fell off the bandwagon of it because it worked so well for me before, but I got the Glow Recipe Strawberry, but I got the Glow Recipe Pore Smoother Blur Drops. I love this stuff, especially around the nose and cheek area. I love this stuff. It just goes so well underneath makeup. I do have this primer from Fenty Beauty, the purple one, hydrating one. I'm not sure if it works with the foundation and the concealer I have. I'll have to look into it. If it does, I'll try and give this another go because I do love this primer. I love how it makes my skin feel very hydrated. And I do love how it has lavender in it, but I'm just not sure if it works for me. So I am going to have to look into that. Now I'll show you a couple other goodie things that I got today actually. I already opened these two, but these are pocket patches and I'm obsessed with them already. Haven't used them yet, but I'm obsessed with them because these are so cute. There's 3 of them, but I only got 2 here. They're called pocket patches, and when you open them up, you have a mirror up here that says, "To be honest, you look good today." And then in this little compartment here, you open it up and it has all the pimple patches here. And this one is really, really cute with what it has. It has cherries, a heart, a bow, and I love New York City. And this one is kind of similar vibe, but I find it more cutesy and girly. This one is a croissant, a cup of coffee, a cloud, and a clamshell. I think these are so cute and really good if, like, you know, you're traveling or if you want to have them in your purse or something like that. Like, I just love these. They are up my alley so much. Now, a couple other things I got that I did want to mention quickly. As you noticed, I got my, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I have got my hair done, which I am happy with how it's turning out. I do feel like it's more natural, more me. I do have been getting into some hairstyles lately, and I'm used to the generation of like me growing up in school and stuff where, you know, you'll do hairspray all over your hair and stuff like that, where my sister would always use a, what is it called, slick stick. She would always use one of these, and I'm gonna be completely honest, and I'm going to sound old, I'm going to sound a certain type of way, but I would always ask her, because she has quite dark hair, I would always ask her, why are you using mascara in your hair? And she would go, no, it's like hairspray or gel in a bottle, in a mascara type of applicator, and you use it to hide flyaways and stuff like that. You should really try it. And for the longest time, I've been like, I don't need that, I don't care, because I do quite like the messy hairstyle type of looks. But I do admit sometimes there's hairstyles where I do want it to be a bit more back. Like, I do want it to be a bit more pulled back, but not like slick backs or anything like that, because I personally don't like them on me. I feel like it shows my ears too much. I ended up trying one of hers and I did like it, so I got one to try out, and also got it to see if my mum wants to try it for her hairstyles for work, because her hair has to be slick back. But the actual thing I went in to get was there's a YouTuber that I've recently started watching that I really love her videos and the way she explains them, especially going from teenager, early 20s makeup, where, you know, I had the skin where my skin didn't really irritate that much. Like when I was a teenager, yes, it was pretty bad. I used to get bullied, get called pizza face, all sorts of things. I had severe acne. But in my 20s, for example, I could mix my makeup products. Like I could have a silicone based product and a water based product and it'll be completely fine for me. I never really had issues. And I kind of been on autopilot doing what I've always done. And now I've actually come to the realization, you know what, I'm hitting into my 30s now. I need to start taking care of my skin. You know, your skin starts to show more things. Like I'm starting to show a bit more sunspots, a bit more freckles, a bit more underneath my eyes are starting to get a bit thinner. I'm starting to show a bit more veins. I do have under eye circles, quite dark under eye circles because they are hereditary. Thanks, mum. And it's just, I need to take better care of my skin. I got to stop going on autopilot and just doing it. And I have to actually start to work on taking care of my skin and doing proper makeup instead of autopilot, because I have been finding my makeup has been making me feel and look older. So also, side note, I have noticed, so I have been using the same Kosas mascara as I have been before, and I ended up getting a restock of my Kosas eyeliner. And I will say this eye in particular is a very watery eye. My eyes tend to water, but this one is the one that tends to water the most. And I tried the new skincare and makeup today, and this eye has watered, but not as much as it has in the past. And my makeup hasn't really disappeared. Like it's disappeared a little bit here, but I think that's because of my sunglasses. But overall, it's pretty good. Anyway, off topic, this YouTuber, I'll put her photo here and her channel name here. I have been recently obsessed with her content, and there's a brush she uses all the time in a lot of her videos, which is called, there's a couple that she uses, but this one is the 402 setting brush, and I could not find this brush by itself. I could not find this brush by itself. And then I saw another brush that I was like, oh, that might be good. And now I used to use Real Technique brushes for the longest time. I absolutely love them. But where I live, I do find it very difficult to actually find Real Technique brushes. So I ended up getting this pack, even though there's things in here I probably am not going to use, but there's two that I do really want to try. So I'm probably not going to use this sponge. I might not, we'll see, because I did get this pack from Kmart of 13 little things in here. It has 6 beauty blenders and 6 powder puffs. I do have really nice brushes. My favorite brushes to use are the Morphe brushes, you know, the new white ones. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but the Morphe brushes. And I do have my favorite concealer brush at the moment, which is from House Labs, which is very expensive, mind you, very expensive. I'll show you the brushes we got in here. I'm gonna have this so I know what one it is, and it's easier for me to see than actually reading the brush. So first we got this big fluffy brush, which they call, it's number 400, and they call it the blush brush. A little description in here about it is, so I thought this would be nice to try. I don't really use this type of brush for a blush. The one I use for blush is this one, which is probably not the best thing. Next up is this orange one, which is number 200, which they call the Expert Face Brush. And this kind of looks very similar to the one that she used in her video. And I got a couple of different types of brushes I've been using for my foundation, but lately I've been going back to this one, which it's literally been white, but I'm pretty sure this was part of the Jaclyn Hill collection with Morphe, and I do quite love this one, but I don't know, lately I've been feeling like it's quite aggressive to doing this, where this one feels sense like you need it, but also feels very light and fluffy, so I might give this a go. Then we have the last two brushes. Now I already have this brush hiding somewhere with my other similar brush. It's buried in here somewhere, but this purple one, they call this the Deluxe Crease Blush. It's number 300. Then lastly, the main one I was after, which is this one, which is 402 setting brush. Okay, it's the next day, and before I get dressed, I want to do my skincare and let that really settle in, and then I'll go into the makeup. And I wanted to try some of the tips and tricks that I've been seeing going around and see if they actually help, or if they're just don't even bother trying, basically. basically. First up is the toner. Going in with a milky toner. I am not sure about this milky toner at the moment. I'm kind of feeling like I might have to go for a different type of toner. I just feel like every time I cleanse my face, I feel like it's extra clogged, and the only thing I haven't really changed is this toner. That's just my personal opinion. I might test it out, might not. But now after toner, I want to go straight in with my eye balm, just so I know my eyes are already done and protected. But this was also one of Nina's tips, actually. I'll put a photo of her up. I've been watching her quite a lot lately, and Nina said to use a eye cream that is an eye balm, where it's not like a waxy texture. I'm just gonna look over here. It's a bit thicker than normal. And she also mentioned when putting the eye cream on, don't go right into the eye. Usually I'd go right into the eye, up close and personal to, you know, the waterline and tear duct, and like really massage it in there. But no, she said go here, kind of like, I forgot what it's called, but you feel like this bone here right before, like hollow, I guess you could call it, right before you feel like the inner part. Rub it softly along there in the top, like kind of like a little massage, and a little bit goes a long way. The reason she said is because it normally, every product you put in here, like this isn't just eye cream, this is concealers and everything else, it naturally will go into your eye. It naturally moves close into your eye, especially as you age. And while that's settling in, I'm going to go in with my Laneige Bouncy and Firm serum all over my face. This one's just one of my favorite serums, and it leaves my skin feeling so nice. Now that my skin is feeling dry, I'm going to go in with my moisturizer. This is just the La Retro cream. A little bit goes a long way. We don't want it too thick, but my skin loves this, so I'm going to use it. She does say to use a light moisturizer in the morning. My skin is not loving any other moisturizer but this one at the moment, so I'm going to use this one and really let it set in. So while I get dressed and everything for my makeup, I'm going to let this one set in, and after I get dressed, I'll put on, before I put on my makeup, I'll put my primer on. But I'm going to let it sit and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and the first thing we're going to do isn't really a tip, it's just to help us. So get your translucent powder, open it with some powder in it, and have it to the side ready, because we're going to need this to go straight in with it. Don't have time to go do other products on our face, so we're going to get that ready. Now I'm going to go in with my primer. One thing she did say that made a lot of sense that I already knew of, I was just being lazy, if that makes sense, because you know, you get used to doing your makeup every single day, or nearly close to every single day, that you don't really think that much about it. You kind of go on autopilot, which is what I was doing, and I wasn't listening to what my skin needed. And let me be honest with you, I've been doing the exact same makeup routine, probably changing it up once or twice, but mostly the exact same products since I have been in my early 20s and teenage years. And you know, I'm hitting close to 30 now. I'm about to be 28. My skin is already starting to change, even though I want to ignore that. It's time to start preparing for makeup in my 30s, for skincare in my 30s. So the first thing I'm going to do is more of a personal thing, and it's just my brows, because I don't do my brows first, purely because then I can be as messy as I want. I don't have to be as precise with it, and as you can tell, I have no eyebrows, so I'm going to put my eyebrows on my face. Okay, now eyebrows are on and we're looking scary. We're going to start off with eyes, so for that we need a couple of things. We need a damp beauty blender and a powder puff. Also, when you damp your beauty blender, the best trick that I have learned and have seen everywhere, especially by makeup artists, is wet the beauty blender, drain it out, squeeze it as hard as you can, drain it out, and then just get a towel, even like a tea towel, and then just squeeze it again to get all the excess water out. Then the three brushes that I have this little orange one. It's called the Deluxe Concealer Brush from Real Techniques. Then I have this House Labs concealer brush. Then I have this Real Techniques powder brush, I believe, and we're using this one because this one's really nice for the eyes. So apart from that, the products that I am using is the Huda Beauty color corrector in shade Cherry Blossom and the top shade Hey Creamy in shade 12N. Now I do have to say I have always used this shade 12N. I'm starting to think it's a bit too pale for my skin. Maybe I should have tried something different, but for now I'm keeping it. I wouldn't throw this away either. I'm just saying I think I might have to use this as my pale shade and get a different shade for my closer to my skin tone. You'll see why later on. Now the first thing I'm going to do is use my color corrector. I'm not going to be very precise with this one. I'm just going to put it under the eyes and around my nose because that's where I feel like I need it. Also, when I say she, I'm referring to Nina because a lot of these are Nina's tips, but she said to use your fingers and make a nice thin layer. That's pretty much all you need. But when I tried that didn't really work my under eyes, so I'm going to use a brush, and this is my brush of choice, and I'm just going to lightly dab and work it into the skin so I can get a bit more of an opaque color. I'm trying not to go too close to the waterline or the tear duct because I really don't want to irritate it. Okay, step 1 is done. Now you can rather wait for this to settle down or use a fan or go in with your foundation, but I'm going to quickly go in with my foundation because I do want to show you the tip before I go in with foundation, because of course the day I picked to do this is the day I have to leave very, very soon. Okay, feels dry enough for me. Just going to open up my concealer, and where I place it is kind of important, kind of not. I didn't quite get that part, to be honest. Actually, no, I did. She says no triangles, no big. Yes, doing a whole bunch of concealer, you can fix it later on, but let's be honest, if it looks perfect through every step, then you know it's going to be flawless, and I 100% agree with her. So this is where she suggests to put your concealer. Yes, I do think I need concealer elsewhere, but I'm going to do that after foundation, and she said to let this sit for a tiny bit before blending it out. Now you can rather go in with your concealer brush if you choose, or a beauty blender. It really does depend. I usually like to go in with a brush unless I feel like it needs my beauty blender, especially if I let it dry down a bit too much, but I'm going to attempt my brush today. And I'm just going to start from the outer cheek and kind of like slowly tap. Now if you think you need more, add more. The exact same placements. You don't have to worry about these bits, just these bits. Add more, but not as much. But I forgot to do what she usually does first. Silly me, completely forgotten about, so I want to quickly do that before I forget, and that's to put a tiny amount on the upper lid, blend them out. Now still kind of look straight. We do not want to have any creasing. Dip your powder puff into your powder, tap the excess off, and set your eyelids. If you have a little bit left there, just use your little brush and just fan it away. That's to stop all the creasing. Now I'm just going to go back in and fix up my under eyes a little bit more. Yes, I did a mistake, but that's okay. Now I'm going to let that sit a bit. Yes, it may crease a bit, but we'll be able to fix it, don't you worry. I'm going to go straight in with foundation. I'm going to use the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. Give that a good shake. Put a pump or two on my hand. Get my foundation brush. Lately, I have been loving this foundation brush from Real Techniques. It's called the Expert Face Brush number 200. Before, I was using this one, which is my Morphe brush crossed with Jaclyn Hill. Love this brush, don't get me wrong, it blends amazingly, but when I do this technique I don't feel like it does right, if that makes sense. But yeah, she grabs a little bit, drags it, buffs it into the brush, and then starts buffing it into her skin, starting off with a thin, even layer. So I'm going to speed through this and then I'll be back. She did say everyone is different. Some people might need more product, some people might need less product, but I will say that since doing this technique, I haven't used as much as I normally would. Normally, I'd go in with way more than this, but I actually quite like how it looks, especially since we covered up our dark under eye circles. It doesn't look like I need more since covering that up. Also, I did want to mention I do love this foundation. Now I'm just going to go in and fix up some of my blemishes that I have. I'm going to put my concealer on my hand, and I'm actually going to go in with my beauty blender, working it into the sponge. Usually the areas I need to work it in are like around my chin. I've never been able to cover up these spots here ever. I personally like to also use the sponge to like blend blend the makeup a bit better around the outline of my face. So, you know, on my neck, on my ears. Also make sure like I get my nose and everything like that. Now we've done that, you would think I would go into set products now. And normally I would go straight in and set the products now. That's what I used to do in the past. It's probably what I'll do now. But because I liked how it looked, I never really had a problem with it. But as Nina says, cream products stick with cream products. And yes, you can draw it on and it will end up looking nice. Like, I'm not gonna lie, will end up looking nice, especially if you have a very nice contour or bronzer, whatever you want to call it. Other than that, dip the brush in and just sculpt it there, which is what I'm going to do the best I can. I'm running out of time. She also says don't go for something that is too orangey brown and something, or opposite, don't go for something that's too grey undertone. You kind of want that middle ground. She also said tap and flick, don't rub, which is what I find the hardest with my hands, because my hands ache so much. I have a tendency to start rubbing and that will disturb the makeup underneath, and we don't want that. The only time I really rub is behind my ear. That's one side of my face and that's the other side. You might not be able to tell that much of a difference. I'll bring it closer, but it is very, very subtle. And if you feel like you need more, go in with more. Now, I don't have any more cream products to go in with, but if you have any more cream products like cream blush or something, go in with it now. But now I'm actually going to go in with my powder and my powder puff and start dusting my face. Now, before I go in with my under eyes, as you can see, it's started to crease. So I'm going to go in with my beauty blender and I'm going to fix that up. Now, it's okay if it creases a little bit, even if you do fix it up. Mine's been like that. I'm still trying to learn that technique better. I don't think I do it as good, and because I tend to forget, I leave things too long. I think that's my problem. But anyway, moving on, practice makes perfect. I'm going to go in with my eyeshadow now. I'm not doing any of the tips that she said for eyeshadow because I don't got any products similar to what she uses, which is basically she gets like a shadow stick, like a very pretty shiny one, puts it on her finger and lightly taps it so it's the lash line, so it's just near the lash line, and it adds a little bit of pop of color. But I don't have anything like that, so I'm just going to do my eyeshadow as normal. Now, because I'm running a little bit late today, I'm just going to add some mascara to this. Usually I would go in with a liner, and I'll tell you what I typically do with a liner, but first I'm going to go in with blush. I got my NARS blush in shade Orgasm Edge and a very big fluffy brush. Usually when I do a blush, it's with this one, which is my Morphe 204 blush brush, but it's for creams. God, that's a tongue twister. So currently this one can do powders and it's really nice, so I've been using it lately and it is nice, but it does take a while to actually pick up. Now I need to turn my head this way because I cannot see myself in the screen properly, but I don't go on the apples of my cheeks. I kind of do this motion on the side of my face and I kind of leave like a 2-finger gap. Now when I go in with liner, when I go in with any eye products like eyeliner or mascara, I typically usually go with Kosas. The only exception to that is the Bad Girl Bang mascara from Benefit. Obsessed with it. So this is my Kosas liner in black, and I use a brush with this type of angle and small, and I paint the liner on it. Okay, now when I put this on, I make sure it's coated. I make sure the angle is pointed this way, but I also make sure my fingers are able to rotate it. And then I look at my eye, which I'm going to have to look at the mirror for this because, you know, your girl's blind. And I start with the outer side as close to the lash line as I can, and I do baby strokes. I pick up a bit more product and repeat. I don't know if you can see it well, but this time I'm flipping the brush this way and I'm going closer from the inner part, not quite, and matching the line up. So it's kind of like this. Now I'm getting a bit more product and I'm going to add a little bit of a wing, but I'm going to line up my bottom lash line with the brush without touching, move it up a bit, press a little bit very softly, close my lid a bit. So there's the outline. Now I'm going to fix it up. I line it with my bottom lash line, because that's what works the best, I find, and makes it look a lot neater and put together and a bit more lifted, in my opinion. Now, eyeliner are sisters, they're not twins. I'm not going to play around with it because it'll end up making me look like a panda. I'm gonna leave it here. Now time for mascara. The mascara I'm using is the Kosas Soul Gazer mascara. Now you really don't want a lot of product on the wand. I like to put it in, wiggle a bit, and pull out. I'm trying not to, you know, stab my eye with it too much. Usually, as she explained, you see so many people online, just put it on, dunk it in, put it on, dunk it in, put it on, dunk it in, slot the other eye, do it again. No, I line it up a bit and feather. That's what I do. This is a very natural makeup, but I feel like it looks a lot nice. Has been in the past. In camera, I can see it's not really picking up contour or the blush, but in person, it's a nice fused situation going on here, different to what I've had normally. Usually, it has the tendency to look quite muddy, and after trying these tips, they've drastically have helped. Now let's hurry up before I'm late.